been able to find out about your rookies here the last few weeks?
Pretty smart, excellent movers like we thought. Physically, you probably won't know till we get them padded up and all that. But really picking it up quickly. Will you get out of here? and I think really probably ahead of schedule a little bit.
Talk about movers in a couple different interviews. Talk about the measurements you're looking at, all that
Yeah.
stuff. Does that become more of a focus?
Well, I just think we're trying to get better and better athletically, and as we do that, you want to still find those aggressive, kind of violent athletes too. So what showed up is all those measurements we talked about earlier.
Is that more reflection of where the game's going? That you need more?
I hope not. I mean, I just would like to get ahead of it, be a little more athletic and still as tenacious and kind of strong-willed, tough-minded like we've been.
Where do you view the center position for you right now? It seems to be the one that's the most greatly in flux.
Yeah, I think it's probably got the most competition to it. Drew's doing a good job, Soakley's doing a nice job, and Lem and Patrick are competing their rear ends off. So when we get to camp, it should really be quite a battle. But that certainly has the most uncertainty.
Drew's Alvin Bailey now versus where he's been his first couple years?
I think much more mature. I think his grasp of what we're doing has showed up to a much higher level. Which is his confidence, obviously, and then he's in great shape right now, which is really, really good to see.
Does the physical condition stuff, does that come with maturity, sort of understanding that stuff?
Well, I think so. I think if you're going to be a pro very long, you're going to have to figure out how to take care of yourself the right way.
Tom, obviously you guys won't be on the field 2 days, or 2 fewer days next week. Do you guys lose anything by not having those on-field days?
I think anytime you don't get to practice, you probably lose something, but at the same time, you all see how we work, and we get a lot more done than most.
Drew was working with first team center a little bit today.
Yeah.
What do you like about him, and why does that role fit?
I think the fact that he's been here the whole year, so he's gotten trained, and now we're starting to see an offensive lineman develop. And, really, he's just kind of earned the right to go in there now and be part of that competition.
When you look at Russell Wilson, where has he improved the most, and then where does he still have the most room to improve?
Well, I think, obviously his level of confidence in what we're doing in the system and all that, I think his command is coming in pretty strong. But like everybody, he can still find areas to get better, and that's how he works within the pocket because he is a mover, and then the protection, helping to take care of him and that sort of thing. So to me, that's kind of an ongoing deal all the time.
Is the center spot something you would need to decide at like a certain time of camp? Or?
No, I don't know about that. I would say somewhere in the preseason. I mean, if you're saying that in terms of camp, yes. When, who knows? I think it's going to show up pretty quickly, though.
John, what was your input in the discussion up to trading Max Unger as far as your ability to compensate the people who already have in the roster?
Well, you always try to make your team better. I think that's what we have done such a fantastic job of, and great trust in John and Pete, and when they bring these discussions up, there's always a good purpose for it. And knowing where we're headed and the youth and what maybe was available to us in the draft, it was the right thing to do. We lost a really good man and a really good player, but that's football.
What are you getting out of this time of year that you can use for the center position come camp?
Well, I think right now, as we've really emphasized with them, this is the time of preparation for camp. I don't know that anybody's really going to win or lose a job during this phase, but this is like spring ball would be in college. You really want to teach them your system and get your young guys kind of broken in and used to what the expectations are and how we practice and do business, so that when they go to camp, they're prepared to compete.
You haven't had a ton of time to work with him, but how is Jimmy Graham coming along up front for you as a blocker?
Well, I think Jimmy's going to be fine. He cares so much. The only setback, obviously, was missing that first week. So some of the foundational stuff he missed out on, and we'll catch him up on that. He kind of came back right in the middle of the install. So if anything, that's maybe where he's a little bit behind. But I think he's doing wonderful. I think he's a lot more than people understood him to be, and he certainly has proven that every day here.
You start back with square one at the start of camp with that anyway, right?
Yeah.
So he'll get that.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that because of that issue. When we get to fall camp, it'll really be the third installation for these guys.
Where is Lem? I mean, it seemed like there was a period last year where Lem didn't even know he was playing again after he was kind of released.
Yeah.
What are you seeing out of him now? Kind of where is he?
Well, I think you're seeing a guy who's heavily involved in the development of those young guys and is competing his tail off for a job. And I think that now he's physically fine, back from the neck issue, no issues there, and so he's able to go play and compete.
how's his experience showing up? He's not in pads, obviously, but is there some experience factor that's showing up right now?
Yeah, I think you're if you were in my room, you'd see him and Alvin and Russell, Sweezy and Britt are really kind of taking over what used to be Max's role, if you will, and collectively they're doing a tremendous job. I think that's really the reason this young group has come along so fast.
How is Justin Britt 2015 different than Justin Britt 2014?
Confident, confident. He knows what's coming. He knows what to expect. He knows how to adjust. The conversations now are the really minute details and consistency, and to try and maximize the player that we think he can be. And I think he's doing wonderful.
Where is Cipollone compared to what you could have reasonably expected, considering he's pretty new to the position?
Yeah, pretty new, like brand new, right? So he's on it right now. I wouldn't say he's behind. He might even be a little bit ahead. A ferocious competitor, so I think that's given him the opportunity to stand there and kind of fight his way through this learning process. And it's a ton, it's a big hill to climb, but I think he's doing well.
You talked Lewinsky initially just guard. Is that still sort of the plan as guard? Or?
Yeah, and then he's a guy that it seems to get talked about more and more as we go through this thing. Really heavy-handed, obviously a good athlete, but as he gets more and more reps, he just seems to improve daily.
Anything
You
else?
good? All right, thank you.